magari si affaccia. Sarebbe bello, no?
Hey guys, we're Ian and Anna, and today we're going to be talking about what you should do if you have 48 hours in Venice, Italy.
We spent around a week in Venice, but we know a lot of you are only going to go for a day trip or 48 hours. So let's just get started with day one. And you're gonna be heading to our favorite pastry shop in Venice. It's one of the oldest ones there, and it's really where all the locals go, right in the center of the city.
You definitely have to try a frittella con crema. So delicious. I also loved Marchini time because when we were first walking around the town, it almost served as a center point. I feel like we'd always run into it and be like, okay, I know where we are. So you can use that as how you're getting around town, familiarize yourself with Venice, because there are a lot of different canals and alleyways that you get a little confused there. And somehow you always end up at Marchini time. You don't always have to go there in the morning. If you want some more later in the day or an espresso, it's really not like a sit down area. It's a bar. So you just go in, grab your espresso, your little pastry, and you're out.
After you enjoy your pastry and coffee in the morning, you're gonna wanna go on a gondola ride. I'm guessing every single one of you wants to do this. Venice is known as the floating city of Italy. It has 118 tiny islands connected by more than 400 bridges. So the best way to see it all is by taking a gondola ride. It was one of the coolest experiences.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things you might think is gonna feel, oh my God, our cat's going crazy right now.
My God.
Speaking of which, they came on the gondola ride with us, which was super interesting. But no, it's definitely one of those things I thought might be like overrated, but it totally wasn't. It's so cool. And also, if you can get the earliest gondola ride of the day, I'm not sure exactly what that is.
They start at around 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m.
Definitely try to get on the earliest gondola ride of the day because you'll get some of the canals a little bit more privately until more people arrive. But yeah, it's just really magical. You just feel like you're in a dream.
Yeah.
I bet sunset's super pretty too.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people going at sunset, but of course, I think it's gonna be a little bit more expensive because the demand's there. But you'll be passing things like the Doge's Palace, St.Mark's Basilica. You're gonna go on the Grand Canal. There are shared or private gondolas. Of course, when we brought our cats, we did a private gondola with a photographer. That was really expensive, but you could scan the QR code right here if you wanna do that, because that would be great for engagements, anniversaries, or
wedding.
family photos. Yeah, or
you never know.
If you want to do the private one, scan this QR code. I want to talk about shared. So the government of Venice created a law that says for a 5-person shared gondola, the price will be set at 90 euros total for the boat. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's definitely worth it because these Venetian gondoliers spend 6 months to become a gondolier, and then it takes about 4 months to craft the boat that you're in. So it is a real deal, and it's like passed down through generations of families, which is really cool.
In general, Venice is going to be super crowded. Depending on what time of year you go, you may get lucky, but there are 20 million visitors each year. It's just kind of an island, and to have that many visitors, you're gonna be running into people, especially since they all tend to go in the same area around St.Mark's Basilica.
Yeah.
I thought when I hear crowded, I'm like, I'm not gonna like it, but I still loved Venice. We were there during the carnival, which made it even more special because everyone was dressed up in these elaborate outfits, and it was so entertaining.
What was the month we were there? February?
February, yeah, that's what it is. It's kind of like their Mardi Gras. It's so cool.
Even though it was a little cold out at times,
yeah,
it was so fun to see all the costumes.
And then midday, you're comfortable. It's warm. It's an amazing time to go. I highly recommend. We actually didn't even know that was going on. We just fell upon it. We're like, oh my God, this is so cool. People put this on their bucket list.
Yeah.
So we got really lucky. The point is, if you're trying to find an area a little bit away from the crowds, head to Dorsoduro. Dorsoduro.
Yes.
It's the university district, and a lot of people just aren't really around there, at least when we were there.
Yes, this is another great place to do a gondola ride away from the crowds. It's a way more quiet and romantic. This is also a great spot to go get lunch at our favorite osteria called Osteria Al Squero. It has these amazing cicchettis. You're gonna see these all over the place, but cicchettis are very small, kind of appetizers of bread and toppings. It could be like shrimp on there, tuna, cheese, and then the osteria will have wine. So make sure to go to this exact one in Dorsoduro because the food was great, the wine was great. Make sure to get some wine. And then across the canal, you get to see one of the last gondolier shipbuilders in all of Venice, which is really cool to see. You might be lucky and get to see someone working on a boat out there when you're eating, but definitely take the time to explore this area. It's very quiet and you're gonna be very surprised at how little amount of people there are here.
But when you do go there for lunch, be careful of the seagulls because they are savage.
They stole my entire plate of food.
Yeah.
savage. And after exploring Dorsoduro for a little bit, you could walk 15 minutes to the most famous bridge that crosses over the Grand Canal called the Rialto Bridge. It is really cool to see. This is where you could watch boats and gondolas glide under the bridge. You could have some drinks or some food along this way. And it's just a great thing to do while you're over in this area anyways.
It's also a fantastic place to watch the sunset.
Oh yeah, from the top. It does get crowded, but the views are unbelievable.
Then for dinner, we went to 6342 Alla Corte. Now, we got this recommendation from a follower on Instagram, and it did not disappoint.
No.
I think it was our favorite restaurant that we ate at in Venice. We particularly loved the squid ink pasta, and also the clams and mussels were delicious. I think you got the lamb chop.
Yes.
Can't go wrong, but
Oh my
those
gosh.
3 things were fire.
Yes.
And then of course there was some live music. It was just a great place. There was like not a lot of people there at all, so I think it might be a little hidden gem that we found. And afterwards, get SUSO Gelato.
Oof.
It is so good. When we were in Rome, we learned about how you know if pistachio gelato is really pistachio. If it's not super green, it should be more on the browner side. So I knew SUSO from looking at the pistachio gelato that it was in fact pistachio. It wasn't like natural flavors, and it was the best pistachio gelato I've
It
ever
was
had.
so creamy. I've never had
Yeah.
more creamier gelato in my entire life.
Yes.
And we've been all over Italy too.
And this is
SUSO's
a more
go.
common, famous place, but it's one of those that lives up to it. I would say for dinner, just make sure to get a reservation just in case it's more poppin' than I'm letting on. And then for SUSO, be ready to wait in a line probably.
For sure, especially during the middle of the day, the lines will be out the door.
Yeah.
So be ready to wait in the line, but it is absolutely worth it.
After SUSO, to make sure to walk around Venice in the dark. It is once again so romantic. I mean, you can see some people riding in the canals, right? I feel like I saw some boat rides. They're like private.
Pretty sure gondola rides run all the way up until 2 to 3 a.m.
It's so cute. Just walking around at night is magical. So.
Such a vibe. Yes, so that is your first complete day in Venice. I know you're gonna enjoy it. But now for day 2, you're gonna start out with maybe going to a cafe like Marchini time to pick up some pastries and coffee, or go to breakfast on your own. We don't know any good breakfast spots, but
Yeah, we
maybe
tend to have skipped breakfast because we were actually in our van camping across the water because we had the cat. So well, this is when we had our van in Europe.
And if you don't know the story, Anna and I shipped our camper van all the way from the US to Europe, and we traveled over there for more than a year. It was unbelievable. Yes, there are campsites across the way from Venice. It was cheap to stay there and take a ferry ride over to Venice every day.
Yeah, I would recommend staying in Venice. We did end up getting a hotel one night. Back to day 2, you're gonna kick this day off after breakfast with a tour at St.Mark's Basilica and the Doge's Palace. If you are interested in a tour like we did, scan this QR code right here.
So St. Mark's Basilica, the Doge's Palace, St. Mark's Square, and St. Mark's Bell Tower are all the most important buildings in Venice. And if you didn't know, Venice was its own republic for 1,000 years, which is absolutely wild. They're one of the richest places on earth at one point, and you could really tell with St. Mark's Basilica because it is beautiful inside and out. It even has 85,000 colorful mosaics made out of real gold inside. And another thing we did on this tour is go up to the terrace of St. Mark's Basilica, and you get this amazing view of the square, the bell tower, and we did it at sunset. So it was really cool to see all the birds flying around.
And we were there during Carnival. So
Yes.
there was concerts and just again seeing all the costumes. It was super cool.
And after learning so much history at St. Mark's Basilica, you're gonna walk 1 minute to the Doge's Palace. And Doge is another word for supreme leader. So the Doge of Venice was like the supreme leader of the Venice Republic back in its heyday. And this palace, yes, you could tell they have a lot of money because it is decorated to a T. It kind of reminded me of the Palace of Versailles with all the art and the decorating. It is a sight to see for sure.
Since that used to be the kingdom, there was a prison attached. I think it was like active for a while.
It was active until World War I.
There's this famous bridge there that everyone gets engaged underneath. It's actually the bridge that connects the Doge's Palace to the prison. So, you know, you might be getting engaged underneath. There's just prisoners going to jail on top. So it's a little morbid in a way. So there are actually a lot of islands surrounding Venice that you could visit as well, including Murano, which is known as the glass-making island. There's Lido that has great beaches, and Torcello. This is actually where Ernest Hemingway wrote one of his famous novels. We didn't go to any of those islands. We actually chose to visit Burano, which is considered one of the most colorful islands in the world. And the reason it's like this is because it's a fishing village. Venice Venice actually has a ton of fog. We experienced a couple of days where we ended up not even going into Venice because you couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
So imagine being out on your boat and not being able to see your island. I guess colorful houses really helped them find their way home because they were able to stand out amongst the fogs a little bit. It's super beautiful, a lot to do there. You could spend a whole day there, just an afternoon. Make sure to grab lunch.
It was by far one of my favorite things about Venice, and it's only a 45-minute ferry ride away. I think it's around 20 euros for a round trip ticket, but it is worth it. And if you want to do a tour of both Murano, which is the glass-making island, and Burano, the colorful island, you could scan this QR code on the screen right here to take the highest rated tour. I heard that one is really fun because you get to make your own glassware on it.
These are the glasses, we love them. Ian did break one.
Yes, but we brought them all the way back home and they're really quality glassware.
My dad loves when he visits. He's like, can I use this one? And I'm like, yes, Dad, of course. Why?
He's like, it's very nice to hold.
It's very nice.
Her dad's Serbian, so that's why he talks like that.
He also went to Venice to watch the cats once. That's a long story, but he loves that those glasses are from Venice. He's like, oh, I was there, you know, with the kitties. Then you're gonna wanna get ready for dinner. We did this really cool thing. We did a dinner cruise.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, sometimes people just wouldn't like to do stuff like that, but this dinner cruise had the best food I've ever had on a dinner cruise.
It was seven.
It was better than New York. It was better than Paris. It had the best food I've ever had.
It was 7 courses, so they give you a ton of food, pasta,
too much food,
meat,
honestly.
yeah, and then they give you a full bottle of wine, glass prosecco, and I don't even know. They just give you a lot of stuff, and it's all amazing. The decoration of the boat. It's an old ship that they used to use in war in like the 16th to the 18th century. So it has that vibe to it, and we were there during carnivals, so there was a couple people dressed up.
So in the summer, it's all open too, which is really nice. It was closed for us because it was colder and there was fog. So we actually ended up turning around and being docked and eating. That could happen, so if that's something you wouldn't be interested in, then maybe don't do it. But we didn't care either way because we did get to sail a little bit.
Yeah.
We got to go outside. The fog was super mysterious and mystical, and like, I don't know, I'm really into romantasy books, so for me, it's just a vibe.
Yes, and I think this is a great way to end your trip because you do pass by all those famous sites you've been seeing, but from the water, which is a really cool perspective. And I think it's around a 3-hour experience, so it's a great way to end Venice. And that is your 48-hour travel guide. We hope we helped you out. We'll have all the links to all our favorite tours and experiences down in the description below for you.
And make sure to comment if there's something we missed that you're like, wait a second, you have to do this when you're there.
Yeah.
Let our followers know. Don't forget to subscribe because we have so many more amazing videos coming up for you. And of course, some great travels this year.
We will see you in the next one. Peace.